Yes, sir. At once.
Waiting orders. Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. At once. Agreed. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Acknowledged. At once. Very well. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed. At once. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Waiting orders. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Waiting
Very
orders.
well.
Once. Affirmative. Of course. Agreed. Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
At once. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Waiting orders. Of course. Affirmative. Of course. At once. Yes, sir. Agreed. At once. Agreed.
Comrade. Waiting. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. At once. Very well. At once. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. At once. At once. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. At once. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reinforcements
Reporting
have
once.
arrived.
Agreed.
First objective met.
Affirmative.
10
At once.
minutes remaining.
At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. At once.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Vehicle reporting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Reinforcements have
acknowledged.
arrived.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Comrade, acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Comrade, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Comrade, acknowledged. Waiting affirmative.
Vehicle affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade, affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Comrade, acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Warning, 5 minutes remaining.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Warning,
Affirmative.
4 minutes remaining.
Vehicle reporting.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting
Yes,
orders.
sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Comrade, affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Warning,
Affirmative.
3
Yes, sir.
minutes remaining.
Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Vehicle acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Warning,
Affirmative.
2
Acknowledged.
minutes remaining.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting
Naval unit
orders. Yes, sir.
lost.
Affirmative. Reporting.
Warning,
Affirmative.
1 minute
Affirmative.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Awaiting
Reinforcements
acknowledged.
have arrived.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
remaining. Naval unit lost. Naval unit lost. Naval
Report
unit
acknowledged.
lost.
Report
Reinforcements have
affirmative.
arrived.
Awaiting affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Naval
Affirmative.
unit lost.
Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Comrade.
Reinforcements have
Affirmative.
arrived.
Affirmative. Comrade. Acknowledged.
Awaiting acknowledged.
Naval unit lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Awaiting acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Vehicle report. Affirmative. Awaiting for affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Comrade. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Waiting order.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Report. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Awaiting for acknowledged. Vehicle acknowledged. Awaiting for acknowledged.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Report
Reinforcements have
acknowledged.
arrived.
Yes, done.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Report affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Awaiting acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. At once. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Awaiting orders.
Got juice? Power on.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Report. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Very well. Reporting. Awaiting
Yes,
orders.
sir.
Affirmative.
Need a jump? Fully charged.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Need a jump? Power on. Juice? Burn, baby, burn. Need a jump? Got juice? Lights out. Power on. Juice?
Unit
Got
lost.
juice? Need a jump? Done. Jogging. Fully charged. Power on. Got juice?
Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Report acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Report acknowledged. Report affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Awaiting or acknowledged.
Need a jump? Fully charged.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Comrade.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Report. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Need a jump? Fully charged.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes. Let's dance.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Yes. Let's dance.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Need a jump? On. Got
Acknowledged.
juice? Yes. Let's dance.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Report agreed.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes. Let's power on.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes. Fully charged. Yes. Fully charged. Let's dance. Fully charged. Extra crisp. Lights out. Got juice? Need a jump? Fully charged. Let's dance. Extra crispy. Let's dance.
Awaiting orders. Reporting.
Got juice? Baby burn. Fully charged. Baby
Report
burn.
agreed. Very well.
Yeah. Need a jump? Starkey. Power on. Let's start, baby burn. Yes. Need a jump? Extra crispy.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting
Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative.
Need a jolly charged. Power on.
Vehicle reporting. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Waiting order.
Reporting.
Unit lost.
Need a job right now.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Waiting affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Comrade, affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Reporting. Very well.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Reporting. Agreed.
Got juice? Need a job? Let's dance. Got juice? Fully charged. Need a jump?
Reporting. At once. Agreed.
Comrade. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Ready and waiting. Of course. Very well. Yes, sir. Of course. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Need a jump? Let's start. Power on.
lost.
Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Engineering.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Engineering. Affirmative.
New construction options. Structure.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade.
Our base
Affirmative.
is under attack. New construction options. Building.
Ready and waiting.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Report. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Ready and waiting. Very well. At once. Very well. Reporting. Yes, sir. Course. Vehicle acknowledged. Acknowledged. Very well. Yes, sir. Reporting.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Reporting. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. At once.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Comrade.
Structure sold.
Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Very well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ready and
Very
waiting.
well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Ready and waiting. Of course. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Ready and
Very well.
waiting. Of course. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At once.
Waiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. At once. Reporting. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Very well. Of course. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At once. Of course. At once. Yes, sir.
Waiting order. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Mission accomplished.